City. No, Brooklyn.
Nyack, New
All
York.
the way
Yeah.
from Nyack, New York.
Yeah.
Rob the band.
Thank you. I've been talking about this one. It's I'm gonna have to say up front, it's kind of heavy. So it's like in the murder ballad vein, but I was trying to tell it from the victim's point of view instead of the aggressor, which seems to be how all of them are done, and way too matter-of-factly a lot of the time for these Appalachian stuff. It's just like, that happened. And I'm like, that's not the way we need to tell these sort of stories. So took the matchbook from the motel in Henrietta, Oklahoma, lit out for the highway in the rain. My orange socks were soaking as he pulled off to the shoulder. Had a feeling that my luck was gonna change. He said, "Where you going? Where you going? Where you going to?" Talked about his hometown as we followed signs for Austin, heading south down the Indian Nation Pike. Mama always told me not to talk to strangers. I guess I should have heeded her advice. She say, "Where you going? Where you going? Where you going to?" Texas roads were empty as the sun kissed the horizon and tickled pink the belly of the sky. I was awakened from my rapture when he slammed the brakes abruptly and jumped out with a mad look in his eye. I said, "Where you going? Where you going? Where you going to?" He came back from the trunk with leather gloves. He leapt across and dug his thumbs into the bottom of my throat. Smiled as I choked, and that was all she wrote. Naked now and lifeless, he dragged me from the front seat and covered me with leaves that closed the day. Unblinking eyes watched taillights glide away into the distance. My open mouth unspeaking seemed to say, "Where you going? Where you going? Where you going to?" Thank you all. I appreciate that. And apologies for the darkness, but
I like
it's,
that.
yeah, all right.
This is good.
It's, yeah, sometimes you just gotta shine the light on it, I guess, and bring it into the world. So, I think officially, not that I've worn a watch in 20 years, I don't know why I just did that, but at midnight it became Veterans Day, right, officially, I guess, on the calendar and stuff. So I was doing some work a bunch of years ago, and kind of continue with the veteran community, and partly like that transition back home from a war situation, you know, and trying to pick up the pieces and get home actually. And so I turned to, you know, sort of probably the best known veteran story in history, the Odyssey, for a little bit of inspiration to try and tell that story a little bit, but also again kind of tell it from a different perspective, not necessarily from the person's perspective coming home, but for all the people who are hoping for that homecoming, and how much that absence can really like chip away at other people's lives as well. So welcome, stranger, come on in and dry out by the fire, and I will tell an ancient tale of heartache and desire. I haven't much, but what I've got I'll gladly share with you, for it's the code of beggars to help each other through. Long ago, before the war, this land was paradise. A goodly king, both wise and just, presided with his wife. Odysseus the brave was he, Penelope his bride. And even us lowly beggars retained a sense of pride. If wishes were horses, they say beggars would ride. But I'd give my horse to the charioteer who pulls the sun across the sky, that everywhere that true light shone might become a poem, singing to his kingly heart, Odysseus, come home. Penelope the fair is she, faithful, chaste, and true. 100 suitors court her hand, so what is she to do? Odysseus is gone, they say, never to return. And when his burial shroud is sown, the wedding fires will burn. The beggars can't be choosers, but she's no beggar's bride. Though ever since the day he left, she's been begging to the tide. Tonight she will unravel what on this day she wove, and whisper out across the seas, Odysseus, come home. There he stands, the only son of Odysseus the brave. But these suitors in his mother's house treat him like a slave. They drink his father's holy wine and hunt his sacred game. And worse than this, beneath his roof they dare defile his name. The beggars can't be choosers, but he's no beggar's son. For since the day his father sailed, he felt like he was one. Tonight he dreams the king returns to claim his righteous throne. That father and son might rule as one. Odysseus, come home. What's your story, stranger, true? From whence have you arrived? And have you news from distant shores? Is Odysseus alive? Give me something I can hold, a lamp to light my heart. 'Cause this world of men is cold again, and the night has grown so dark. The beggars can't be choosers, so I'm down on my knees. I pray you tell me something good, oh tell me something please. And promise me from this day forth, wherever you may roam, you'll keep this story on your lips until Odysseus comes home. I thank you, friend, the stranger said, for your story and your gruel. Beggars make such gracious hosts, the gods can be so cruel. You dare not dream the things I've seen, the good men that were lost. And I can't believe what we received could e'er outweigh the cost. Beggars can't be choosers, but I'm no cur tonight. Even though I've thought myself a beggar all my life, tonight I'll trade these tattered rags for a fitting kingly robe. For these shores are mine own Ithaca, and I'm Odysseus come home. Yes, tonight I'll trade these tattered rags for a fitting kingly robe. For these shores are mine own Ithaca, and I'm Odysseus come home. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. How we doing on time? Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So this came up earlier. My great-grandfather, coming out of one pandemic and into the other, died in the Spanish influenza. So this is a bit of his story. What makes a man take his wife and leave his country for a foreign city to start again? I guess he thought it best to roll the dice and take his chances, then admit defeat right there and then. He had big dreams, the Opera House was calling, and everybody was gonna know his name. And he was gonna make it on the streets of New York City, as long as blood flowed in his veins. In 1918 they were living in Italian Harlem, in in a cold water flat on Pleasant Ave. My grandpa Pat was just 3 years old when the Spanish influenza took his dad. He had big dreams, the Opera House was calling, and everybody was gonna know his name. But he lays buried beneath the streets in New York City, in some unmarked pauper's grave. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Every time my grandma hears me singing, she says, "You get that from your grandpa's side." You see, his father was gonna be a singer in New York City. Yeah, that's why he braved the tide. He had big dreams, the Opera House was calling, Giovanni Mango was his name. And he was gonna make it on the streets in New York City, as long as blood flowed in his veins. Yeah, I could stay a teacher, and I could have my summers off, and a hefty pension on down the line. But I inherited a dream from a former generation, and I ain't wasting no more time. He had big dreams, the Opera House was calling, and everybody was gonna know his name. And he was gonna make it on the streets in New York City, as long as blood flowed in his veins. And I share his dreams, the Grand Ole Opry's calling, and everybody's gonna know his name. 'Cause Giovanni, I won't let your dreams die in New York City. Now while your blood flows in my, now while your blood flows in my, now while your blood flows in my veins. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Aaron, thanks for having me.
Thanks. Everybody,
Yes.
what's your social media?
Rob McMahon9 on Instagram, yeah, or Facebook and those other places.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, once more for Rob McMahon.